Okay, let's dive into this. Imagine you wake up tomorrow morning, grab your coffee, and discover that scientists have just, well, solved everything. Every single mystery in the universe totally figured out. No more unanswered questions, no more unexplained phenomena. Just a complete 100% understanding of how absolutely everything works. Sounds completely impossible, right? Well, yeah, because it is. That comforting illusion shatters pretty fast when you realize that despite all our incredible tech, we're talking massive space telescopes and quantum supercomputers, and centuries of brilliant research, science still literally cannot explain some of the most fundamental things about our reality. So today in this explainer, we're going to tackle the absolute biggest mysteries that science still can't explain. Part 1, the invisible universe. And this brilliantly illustrates the scope of the problem. Because when we look out into the cosmos, we see billions of these beautifully bright stars and galaxies, right? But scientists realize something super unsettling. These galaxies are spinning way, way faster than the laws of physics say they should be. Based on the visible stuff in them, they should literally just fly apart into the void. But they don't. It's like there's this invisible glue holding them together. In fact, everything we can see, touch, and interact with, normal matter, makes up just 5% of the universe. Just 5. That invisible glue, we call it dark matter, and that makes up roughly 25%. And the remaining 70%, that's dark energy, which is this bizarre force that's actually pushing the universe apart faster and faster. We mapped the human genome, we landed on the moon, yet we are essentially completely blind to 95% of the universe around us. And if we zoom in on the absolute most extreme objects out there, black holes, the mysteries only get deeper. If you fell into a black hole, what exactly would happen? The terrifying truth is, nobody knows. Right at the center is what's called a singularity. That is the exact point where the laws of physics just give up. Einstein's famous equations completely break down. Space and time distort so much we can't even comprehend it. Does the black hole just destroy information? Is it preserved in some weird way? Could it even be a doorway to a completely different universe? Without a working theory of quantum gravity, it's just a total mystery. So, okay, we clearly have no idea what makes up the vast majority of the cosmos. But that actually brings us to a really unsettling question. Do we even understand the minds we're using to study it? Think about that for a second. We spend all this time trying to decode the massive universe, but the very biological tool we're using to do it, our own brain, is hiding secrets that are just as deep as any supermassive black hole.
Part 2, the enigma of life.
We aren't just talking about evolution here, folks. We're talking about the very first spark of life itself. How did a bunch of non-living, basic chemicals somehow bridge the gap to become the very first living organism? Scientists suspect there was some unknown catalyst process. But what was it? Did life emerge down in boiling deep-sea vents? Did a random lightning strike just spark the right primitive chemistry? Or did the raw ingredients literally crash down from space on an asteroid? The exact moment and method of how life first clicked into existence is basically a giant blank spot on our scientific timeline. And hey, even if we figure out how life started, we hit an even bigger brick wall with consciousness. You're conscious right now, taking in this explainer. You're hearing my voice. But why? Science is great at mapping out the physical brain. We can identify brain regions, map billions of neurons, measure all that tiny electrical activity. But here's the thing. So the crucial point is, science entirely fails to explain our subjective experience. Why do we feel emotions? Why do you experience the color red instead of your brain just cold processing it as a wavelength of light? This is what philosophers call the hard problem of consciousness. Nobody knows if awareness just magically emerges from complex wiring, or if it's somehow a fundamental built-in property of the universe itself. Now contrast that incredibly rich, profound inner life of ours with the deafening statistical silence of the universe. Think about the numbers. There are hundreds of billions of stars in our galaxy alone, and potentially trillions of planets. Statistically, intelligent life should be everywhere. So where is everybody? This is the famous Fermi paradox, and it offers some pretty chilling potential answers to that silence. Maybe alien civilizations inevitably destroy themselves before they can make contact. Maybe they're out there but actively avoiding us. Maybe intelligent life is just a statistical freak accident and we are incredibly rare. Or maybe we are just looking in completely the wrong way. But what if the reason we can't find anyone, the reason our own consciousness is so stubbornly strange, and the reason the universe is mostly completely invisible to us, is because of the nature of reality itself? What if the very stage we're acting on is just an illusion? Act 3, the fabric of reality. Time feels so inherently intuitive to our daily lives, doesn't it? But talk to a physicist, and they'll tell you they really aren't sure what time actually is. Why does time only seem to move forward? Why can we remember the past but not the future? Is time an ever-moving arrow? Or, as some mind-bending theories suggest, do the past, present, and future actually all exist simultaneously in one giant static block of space-time? There are even serious scientific models right now proposing that time itself might just be a complete illusion created by our brains. And that line of thinking inevitably leads us to a seriously shocking question. Is the universe just some giant cosmic computer program? This is the highly controversial simulation hypothesis. A lot of serious philosophers and scientists have actually proposed the possibility that our reality isn't physically real at all, but rather a hyper-advanced simulated construct. Now, there's absolutely no proof of this, but man, does it raise some disturbing questions. I mean, could there be glitches in the code of reality? Would we even be capable of recognizing them if we saw them? And the most unsettling question of the whole shebang, if we are in a simulation, who coded it? Which brings us to part 4, the ultimate unknown. There is a really crucial distinction we have to make here. See, modern science is absolutely incredible at explaining how the universe evolved. We can track the expansion of the cosmos, we can explain the formation of stars, we can trace the evolution of species. But why the universe exists in the very first place? That is a totally different ballgame. Why are the constants of nature so perfectly, precisely balanced to allow for life to exist at all? Explaining the mechanics of how things work, well, that's science. But explaining the actual reason why it all exists in the first place, that seems to sit totally beyond human understanding. Why is there something rather than nothing? It is quite literally perhaps the most profound sentence ever formulated. And you know what? Human ignorance on this topic isn't a failure of our scientific method. Not at all. Actually, it's the absolute ultimate frontier of discovery. It's a humbling reminder that no matter how much we figure out, the universe is vast, mysterious, and infinitely complex. So, I'm going to leave you with one final burning question. Out of everything we've talked about, which mystery do you find most fascinating? Is it that invisible dark matter holding our whole galaxy together? Is it the strange, totally subjective nature of your own consciousness? Or is it that mind-bending possibility that we're all just living in a cosmic computer program? Think about it. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep questioning, keep looking up, and definitely never lose your sense of wonder, because this universe of ours clearly still has a lot of spectacular secrets left to reveal.